let's get into it. Rotorua, obviously, and Hawera. We've got 3 from Rotorua we want to take a look at before we have a look at a race at Hawera. And it's race number 3, Steve, the Van Dyke Furnishing 3-year-old over the 1,400 metres.
Yeah, favourite well played here, Thaddeus. Arish number 4, open $3.30, remains that quite, but well played. In front of Mercurial, $5.50, second line. The big firmer has been around number 2, Jimmy Kirk, $7.50 into $6. Synchronise, $6, hasn't budged. Dancing Sands, $9, the only other runner in single figures. Masangi Lass at 12, sits at the same quote as Mia Fiore, and also If She Can. Freebie, $15, and Last Resort at 18, just gone out a couple of turns, original price 16. So best bet runner, number 2, Jimmy Kirk, but plenty of punters playing with the favourite here, number 4, Arish, after an impressive last start win at 65 grade.
Yeah, it was a good win, BP, down the line there at Wanganui for Arish. Obviously put the writing on the wall prior to that, but Stephen Marsh will have a fair old say in this 3-year-old event.
Look, he will, and look at a runner that has a very good on the racetrack in Jimmy Kirk, and of course we go back to that question we had a couple of weeks ago about horses for courses, and certainly Jimmy Kirk is providing that with 3 starts here now for the 2 victories, and comes back to the scene of the crime again, looking to try and make it 3 on the bounce out of Rotorua. So look, I love the way that he's been able to go to that next grade and perform, Jimmy Kirk. He's got a slightly niggly barrier draw, but the money is up for Jimmy Kirk with what we've seen in terms of early movement. I do like the reference around a couple of runners here, certainly Synchronise, because they've got themselves on the ballot later on in the day for a stakes race. But look, her run was very encouraging, I thought, in the Cambridge Breeders and behind Bonnie Lass. A race that, look, didn't quite work out for her. She had a tricky barrier draw. They were always going to go back and try and work home into the race. And look, she's done a good job to be able to work home and get within 4 lengths of the winner. Did Synchronise. So there was a lot to like about what she did in the run and what she did in the race. And of course, Mercurial was very unlucky in that same race, a horse who just never got a fair crack at them and is around that $5.50 quote. So I'm keen to shop around those horses. I think Arish brings that reference of bumping into Cote de Boone in that key lead-up race to the Cambridge Breeders, then going to Whanganui and getting the job done nicely there also. But yeah, Synchronise and Mercurial are the 2 horses that are gaining me a bit of interest anyway on that each-way value.
Yeah, what do you make of that Mercurial run, BP? You mentioned slightly unlucky. Would have finished a little bit closer, you'd suggest?
I think so, yeah. And the lead-up run was when beaten at Te Rapa as well, and behind Cote de Boone was about 3 lengths off them. Look, he's shown some good enough form throughout his 3-year-old season, Mercurial. He hasn't been too far away through some of those spring 3-year-old races. So he's shown that he's not too far away from our better ones. So this is a good chance for him to maybe cash in on that in a race like this.
Okay, Paul, the 3-year-old race, where are you casting your eye here?
I like the look of Arish, as BP said. That second in behind Cote de Boone and also behind Paranui Bay a little bit earlier on. It just shows she's got a bit of class. The win at Wanganui, over 13.60 last time out, was very, very good. So yeah, I'm happy to stick with Ari on top. I also like the look of Synchronise as well. I agree, that was a very, very good run in the Cambridge Breeders. And I think the 1400 looks ideal for the daughter of Savabeel. And Jimmy Kirk, where you can't fault the lead-up form. Ding ding. Marsh, you'll have him ready.
Yeah, going for 3 in a row. Likes the Rotorua surface.
There's a lot of ticks in the boxes with Jimmy Kirk.
Yeah, okay. Steve, you went with the Arish favourite here. What was your thought process here? I've been a little interesting with the Marsh runners, how you lined them up, and then what do you do with Synchronise, I suppose?
Firstly, on Synchronise, I thought it was a pretty good run. She was first up there in the Breeders, and she trialled well leading into it. The overall race up to the 600 metre mark was bang on even pass, so naturally you'd think it suited all runners. But as we know, Te Rapa, particularly going back and looking at all the races that day on Breeders' Day, you had to be in the first half does to be a winning shot. You look at We Will Rock, Bonnie Lass, they finished first and third, they were right on speed. Synchronise went back from a wide gate, was in the last third and running. As I said, they did go even tempo, so she was asked to sprint a long way from home, probably around about the 800 metre mark, and she loomed into it in about the 300 metre mark and then just peaked. I thought just being a strong tempo over 1200 metres, she peaked on her run being first up. 1400, better gate, should situate hopefully midfield, no worse. Yep. She is the big improver, but she still needs to improve slightly on Arish. On Arisha Race, she was heavily punted, taking on 65 gallopers at Alpuni last start. She got a gun run. I probably wanted to see her put more of a margin in.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, half a length. I mean, I was probably expecting a little bit more, if anything.
Well, you did the top of the straight. You thought, well, how many lengths she's going to win by?
Yeah.
Knowing the market support, she'd brought strong form from the semi-final leading into the breeders. But you kind of dissect it more. The overall race was bang on 65 grade, so no knock there.
Yep.
Always hard to do for a 3-year-old, no matter what time of the season, to beat the older horses at 65 grade. Winnie Rose, who finished 6th in the race, has come out and beat a sub-winner yesterday at Whanganui. And again, she maps perfectly here. I've still got around about a couple of lengths in front of any rivals on exposed form, Arisha Reach.
Okay, and how did you line the Marsh pair up just quickly? We got Mercurial in front of Jimmy Kirk, the market gravitating towards the course and distance specialist. Are we willing to call it a specialist yet?
I think you can, but I'm taking a set against Jimmy Kirk, $7.50 into $6 you see up there graphically. Both wins this time in at Rotorua Park, yet to produce a decent figure, including its last start when it was 4.1 lengths below par for 65 grade. Out of the 4 1,230 metre events on the 29th of April at Rotorua Park, which included 2 maidens, it was the slowest, Jimmy Kirk.
Okay.
In terms of a marketplace, now this horse last started at Rotorua Park when winning, opened at $4.50, got backed into as short as $4, eased all the way out to $8. So you can take a little bit of an assessment of how the market will treat Jimmy Kirk on Saturday. I think $6 is its bottom price. That's all depending on the liability. But if you want to back Jimmy Kirk, I'm opposing him purely at the price. I think he starts closer to double figures to where he's trading now, 6, purely on the figures he's produced up against some key rivals here.
Interesting. What do we do then, Paul, if we want to back Jimmy Kirk?
Well,
SP.
it's very hard, you know, with Stephen as below par figures, fair dinkum. The horse doesn't know about below par, so don't worry about it, fair dinkum. Just, if you like Jimmy Kirk, jump on.
SP, though. If we take SP, don't we? Starting fixed odds price.
Well, the trend at the moment, well, he's come in, so
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know, is there any more money to come for Jimmy Kirk?
Well, Steve's telling us maybe
Well, we've seen
not.
that trend. Big syndicate involved. They punted the horse early on Thursday and Friday, a couple of days before race day, and then it was soft on race day. So naturally the traders are taking all this money and fair dinkum to them.
Yeah.
They brought it in.
Yeah.
That's fair play. But on race day, they're a little bit easy, and I think he drifts.
Okay, you expect to see a drift. BP, any other horses we need to mention here? Dancing Sands is an interesting runner, obviously, for another Mark Walker runner in the race. Besigny Lass, anything down the page here we need to be chucking into combinations?
Look, I think we've got this race fairly nailed in terms of what we've spoken about. I'm pretty happy around that synchronised Arisha being put into the race from a barrier draw, which gives you a prime opportunity of winning this race, doesn't it, with where she's drawn and obviously with the form that she does bring from 2 starts ago and getting the job done at least when winning last time to the races. So look, overall I went with synchronised. I just thought the horse could be a pair or 2 closer, which could be just the key to the race for her, with not having to concede lengths early and what was a very big field and a good race in the Cambridge Breeders. She can be a pair or 2 closer to them, and that might just give her that winning advantage here second up. So I thought she was a nice bet sitting around that $6, but huge respect around Mercurial and Arisha in the race also.
Yeah, okay, nice. Pop's going with a little bit of value there, synchronised $6. Nice each way around that. Big improver second up. Paul, where did you land in the end?
I like the look of Arisha from the 3 barrier and synchronised from the 5. I think they'll both be sitting fairly handy as they come around the turn. So I've taken a fixed Quinella, Arisha and synchronised at $10.
Oh, I like it. Okay, synchronise Arisha $10 fixed Quinella. Okay. Anything that can spoil the party here, Steve? Down the page, I mean, just before we move on.
Look, Dancing Sands, good enough considering it was only her second race start when winning at Rotorua Park. Just needs to find maybe 1 or 2 lengths, but comes out of the right stable. If she can, I want to take a knock because it has the form line around Jimmy Kirk last start. So overall, I'll be taking a set against Jimmy Kirk. I've got Arisha the hardest to beat, but the market have identified that.
Yeah, okay. Boys keen on synchronise and Arisha in the 3-year-old Van Dyke Furnishings over the 1400.